Alright everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy30s official review of the NXT special tonight, which was called
NXT Takeover
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, yes. I get a little lost in those names. I don't know. I don't think I like that they stick with the takeover part all the time. I think that should have been the first one and renamed after that. But nonetheless, we're here to talk about it.
And we've got a lively crew here because the four of us watched it together. And yes, I said four. We have a special guest tonight. It's our ninja behind the scenes, the Nerdy30s ninja himself, the party ninja. Jamie Marshall is with us. So we're going to be getting his opinions as well as the usual crew of Jimmy, Jeff, and Matt. And I'm going to start off right off the bat, guys, because we've watched all of these, I think, pretty much together. And where does this one rank to you? Did you enjoy this one as much as you have previous ones?
Definitely the best female match in the show. And I love the end. I think as an overall card, maybe that first one was probably the best.
Yeah.
As an overall card.
Yeah, I don't think this was the best one overall. That first one was really good. I think maybe the second one holds up. Maybe a couple of them holds up better than this overall. I don't know. But, I mean, it was spectacular. Don't get me wrong on that. I really enjoyed it.
I think a real problem with this one was, and this is something we talked about, as guys get called up, you've got this hot group of guys that we associate with the NXT right now. Neville's got called up. Neville wasn't on this show. He was missed. And then you've got Atami injured for 6 to 8 months.
Lucha Dragons.
The Lucha Dragons call exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to keep, for this brand to stay hot like it is right now. And I don't think this show hurt it by any means. It was a good show.
Oh yeah.
But I think for them to keep this momentum, they're going to have to keep raiding the indies and bringing in these guys.
Well.
And we saw a huge debut tonight, which we'll get to in a minute. Which I don't know. I mean, would you consider debuting from TNA and Indy?
I don't even know. I don't know if I can.
To a degree, yes. I mean, no, it is not technically, but to a degree, yes, because the separation is so much. So I don't know that coming from the Indies not better than coming from TNA at this point.
Get paid better.
You do,
yeah, I'm sure.
Taken care of better, probably.
Well, do you guys want to jump right in and start just kind of running down the show, match by match?
Run down the card.
All right, Jimmy, I know you were taking notes, so I'll let you call out the matches for us.
Well, first, before we get to the first match, let's talk about how they got Hideo Itami out of the card tonight, because he was originally supposed to be in the three-way match.
I was actually kind of surprised that they did this angle, just because it's pretty much common knowledge. I think pretty much the NXT fan base is not your WWE fan base. The NXT fan base are more or less us. They're the guys that's reading the internet news sites. And everybody knew that Itami was injured. We've known this for 2 weeks now, probably. So I was a little surprised that they went ahead and shot an angle to kind of storyline-wise put it over. But it was a very reminiscent of an old Smoky Mountain angle involving the Heavenly Bodies and the Thrill Seekers, as we had Itami injured in the parking lot. And it was kind of alluded that possibly Kevin Owens done it. Never said, but
it was teased. Anyway, and yeah, it was odd just because, like you said, it was been common knowledge. And before you got here, Jimmy and I was talking about, we're like, why is he still showing up on the card? Because everybody knows. But I mean, it was fine. I thought it was cool, a little thing, but
they used it to further advance Owens a little bit.
It did,
and to give a good reason why he's hurt. So
yeah,
felt good. I kept thinking I was going to see Dusty Rhodes or something out there though, because that felt like some kind of old NWA angle.
Yeah, it was cool. It was neat.
I was waiting for Jim Cornette, but then I realized Jim Cornette ain't going to have nothing to do with any angle that involves Kevin Owens.
No, he's not.
So the first match, since we got rid of Itami, Baylor and Breeze.
Okay, this one I know, I think I was a little bit higher on this match than you were, Jimmy. I thought it was good. What I noticed about it was, and I think I said this during the match, I noticed the spot where they kicked it up to the second gear. They started out slow, and then there was a spot where I could tell. It's like almost like a moment where I could see it actually turned up, and they went to kind of that next level with it. And to me, I thought it worked. I don't think it was the best match on the card. I don't think it may have been my second favorite overall match, actually. But, yeah, I mean, to me it worked. And I thought, Finn Balor, his entrance it just gets better and better every time. And
Yeah,
this one,
I have to agree.
yeah, I know you're a huge fan, Jamie. What did you think of the back this time?
Oh, the back was totally awesome. The Balor, as they called it. I mean, without seeing it, you cannot describe it. There's no words for it.
Yeah, and Jimmy, you put it over. What is this guy going to do for this first WrestleMania entrance? I mean, it's already insane.
It's going to be crazy. If they put the WrestleMania dollars to an entrance, it's going to be nuts.
So, what did you think of this match?
Man, I mean, I really enjoyed the match. It was definitely not match of the night, I don't think, and I think I've saw better matches from both guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the match. There was some odd timing stuff. I'm not talking about the timing as in pace of the match. I like what you talked about, the way it slowly went into that build and then it got real hot and fast. That was cool. Just some timing stuff between the two guys a little bit. Nothing major, though. It was a real good match. I enjoyed it.
I think maybe, and this may be something that played into it a little bit with you too, Jimmy, the fact that they did go from slow to fast, maybe not the best decision for your opener. I think sometimes for your opener, you want to go hot right out the bat. And just like go, just high spot, high spot, high spot. And maybe that was what it was. Maybe it was the placement on the show may have actually...
You just killed the business.
Well, I hope I did.
Every match, opening card, just be like 20 super kicks. And that automatically gets the crowd pumped.
I would argue that every match on the card should have at least super. But that's neither here nor there.
The thing in my mind with this match is Baylor came out, the crowd's super hot.
Yeah.
I think they should have let him get some offense in to get the crowd going. But it's like it just died because it was Breeze. Just boom.
Yeah, he took a lot of the heat at the first. He
took
did.
3/4 of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I can see that. I'll tell you something else that you were right about. You called out here. We could definitely tell we were working with the NXT production crew. They was missing some stuff here.
One of the things I thought they could have, and again, we're armchairing it, and these are probably students down there
Probably.
doing some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But if the weird angles when they were out on the ramp, if they had built the anticipation with us seeing him actually climb up, I think that that would have built that a little more.
Yeah, because that was huge, a huge moment, but it just didn't feel as huge as it should have been for some reason. And maybe it was because of that we didn't get that build in anticipation. And I thought too, it was a little bit too long. The moment we saw him there to the moment Breeze got up, like there was a bit of a delay that made it look a little weird. Which I mean, whatever. I'm nitpicking.
Well,
I
we're
guess.
totally nitpicking, but that's what people tune into here to do.
But I mean, it was cool.
So overall, good match. Maybe not their best, but a good match. And Balor gets the win, so he's the #1 contender now. Which, when we see the show closing angle, I have to wonder how that plays into everything as well.
I'm sure that Joe will go to the end. I know we haven't said what it is, but
Yeah.
I mean, if he's #1 contender, he has to get the first shot.
Yeah.
Just plain simple.
So there was that match, and the only other thing I'll say, I wonder how much of this match they had to change from what they were originally going to do with the absence of Itami.
Well, I think Baylor was going to be the choice, though.
I think so too. That's what I feel like, anyway.
I think that, but there's a part of me that almost wonders if they don't feel like that would have been the time to give Itami that shine, to try to give him, because I feel like of all, what are the NXT 5, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
I feel like he's been the one, and don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Itami fan. Love everything that he's done as Kenta before.
Who?
Yeah. But I feel like, how do I put this? It's not really quite connected the way it should with him yet as compared to the other guys.
I'll agree with that.
And I don't think that's even his fault necessarily. I don't know. But I feel like maybe there's a chance that
the language barrier is a big part
That's
of
a
that. I
problem.
really do.
And Vince hates Japs.
Well,
But
you heard of Zinga?
so I don't know. But yeah, regardless, you're probably right. Balor probably would have got it. But so that was that match.
Next was, I think her name's Dana Brooke. I don't even know the chick's name.
Yeah.
And Emma versus Charlotte and Bailey. You guys did not, I don't think, catch this because you were kind of watching it outside through the door.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of this whole thing was one of them said Emma taught Bailey a lesson by stealing her headband, and one of the other ones said, "What? How to do misdemeanors?" That cracked me up.
That is funny.
I did not hear that. That's
you
funny.
missed
Yeah.
that. That was great.
You know, this match was fine. I mean, it was, like you said, certainly better than anything we get on Raw.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it wasn't the best women's match by a long shot that we saw in NXT special. I think Emma's still, I like the fact that they're doing something different with Emma, with the heel turn, but I feel like she's still finding herself in that role. And I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Charlotte looked a little bit off compared to what we saw her other times tonight. Like, there was a few spots where I thought she looked a little bit maybe off. But, I don't know, I mean, regardless, it was good. I think Bailey is such a natural baby, man. Matt called it when you were saying she's almost got like that for a female, like the Daniel Bryan like connection with the crowd. So,
I mean, I think this match was exactly what this match should have been, and what you cannot get with a Divas match on Raw, and that is a good, solid filler Divas match. Because this was essentially a filler match on the card. Nothing wrong with that. But it was good. I mean, it wasn't spectacular by any means, but it didn't need to be spectacular. It was good, and that's what you would like to have from a Divas match on Raw, really, but you don't get that very often.
well, you get one Divas match usually a week on Raw, and it's usually going to be some combination of the same four girls. They'll pick, they choose like four girls at a time,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them are just kind of not there.
Well, with as much time as they give them, what else can they do?
Right,
Yeah.
and it's usually the Bellas and whoever the other two are that they're wanting to use the feud with them, because for whatever reason, they just love the Bellas.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Until Total Divas is over, the women's division is screwed.
I think
they
you're
do,
right.
Yeah.
Because they try so hard to use the in-ring stuff on Raw to promote Total Divas. And you're right. You're right.
It just makes a joke out of it being taken seriously in the wrestling world, because you're just using it to sell that TV show.
Exactly. But we should say Charlotte and Bailey did get the win. For people who are listening, they did get the win.
And it was a good match.
Yeah, I love Bailey. She's my favorite, probably diva right now in the NXT division. So it was cool to see her get a win.
Ninja, what'd you think?
I would have to totally agree. I mean, it's not one of the best matches I've seen. There's a few falls in it that I thought, but other than that, it's probably maybe the second best women's match I've seen by far.
There you go. Okay.
You really liked it.
So,
Next, this is the one where we kind of powdered out a little bit. Rhino and Corbin.
Yeah.
Rhino, who is going to be main eventing Miracle on the Mountain 5 in a few weeks, we should say.
Absolutely.
So-
June 6th, Bluefield Auditorium.
If you're watching NXT and you saw Rhino, if you want a chance to see an NXT superstar in person, you don't have to drive to Florida or Pittsburgh or anywhere else or Philadelphia to go see him. You can come right to Bluefield if you're listening. So, but the match itself,
It had Baron Corbin.
it's
There's your first problem.
I have no interest in anything with Baron Corbin.
I don't need
I've said it before, I'll say it again. He makes me wish I was watching a Roman Reigns match.
He is, to me, the singles version of the Ascension. Some guy they're trying to get behind, and
Yeah.
eventually they're going to figure out it's not working.
I think that's a very accurate description.
Well, the NXT crowd was crapping all over him tonight. They're not liking him, and I actually honestly believe they should have gave that win to Rhino tonight. The crowd was hot for Rhino.
On the Miracle on the Mountain, what's the chance that he will pile drive somebody
Through a table.
off the canvas?
It's going to be pushing it a little bit, probably.
I'll have to check. I have to get with Cody
I
Green
saw-
and see if there's anything in the budget for a table.
I saw him attack announcers and stuff before.
Oh, boy.
Huh.
I'm just saying, it'd be cool, guys.
I'll tell you right now. I'll take that spot.
I'll
Take that spot if they'll buy the table.
Well, you heard it there first.
We need a Kickstarter.
I mean,
Jeff through
if
the
that's
table.
true, I'll probably buy a table.
Put Jeff to the table fund.
But unfortunately, they did give the win to Baron, and that the stupor push continues, and it was mercifully short. It wasn't real long.
Do you feel like that is like, let's appease Vince? Like Vince was down and he was like, I like that guy.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility.
Well, we better push him so he'll shut up.
As we talk about Vince playing on the network behind us, we just get that classic moment where the limousine exploded. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in the background, Paul London and Spanky are laughing right now.
Yes, they are.
But that's neither here nor there. So that was that, and it was what it was. But we did get to go to our next match after that.
And Enzo and Big Cass versus Generic and Generic, otherwise known as Blake and Murphy.
Who, up until at the end of the match, we were convinced his names were Blake and Murray. That's how much...
Generic and Generic, that's what they are.
They kind of are.
These guys, I mean, to me, are such a conundrum. I'm not saying they're not talented. They're actually quite good in the ring.
Yeah.
There is literally nothing about them that stands out to me. There's nothing. I don't know anything about these guys. I know that they come out to a bad dubstep song. I know that the one guy has pigtails now, and very Lenny Lane-like.
Yeah, very Lenny
As
Lane.
Jamie mentioned. The other guy kind of looks like a bigger, roided up Sami Zayn a little bit with long hair. And I don't know. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. The guys are good. I just feel like they're in a real weird spot right now, holding these belts. And I honestly think that Enzo and Cass, to me, if I had to pick one finish tonight that I feel like should have been an opposite, I think it's time to pull the trigger on Enzo and Cass as the champs. They've never held those belts, and maybe the most over tag team act, maybe in the history of NXT.
Man, I love the act. It's I think spectacular. I've loved seeing them get the belts tonight. I've been wanting them for a minute, but yeah, to speak on Blake and Murphy, not Murray. It's just that thing. I think they needed some more time especially before getting these belts. I felt like they kind of just got hot shot into it when the Lucha Dragons got called up. Is what really happened, but I don't know. They're really good in the ring. They just need to find that it factor, that something that makes them stand out. I don't know what that is. But.
Well, we did see the heel turn, I guess, from them tonight, like the full on heel turn. So maybe that'll be the start of something. Like I said, at the moment, it's not even that I think they're bad, because I don't. I just don't know anything about them. To the point where I feel like there's nothing, like you said, generic. There's nothing that stands out. There's nothing that hooks me and makes me care about them, even enough to know their names.
Obviously, because you thought it was Murray.
Murray, yeah. But, so yeah, I bet they retained through the help of, what is her name? I forget. The
Alexa
girl,
Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. Through the help of Alexa Bliss, they retained. I thought that was a little bit of weird booking, because Enzo was like kind of selling the injuries of like the match, and then Cass came over and drug him over, which made not a lot of sense. And then we had the whole thing happen where the Cass came out and it left Enzo. It was just a weird finish, honestly.
It wasn't what happened, but what it felt like was, okay, guys, before we talked about this, we were doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. Well, Enzo's hurt. Still, we got to go to Z. So he's like dragging him over and literally setting him up there.
It was weird. It was just a weird finish.
It was.
It was not a bad match. In fact, it was a pretty good match. I thought a good tag team match with a really weird finish. Yeah. That would be what I would say.
Wasn't bad. Next was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch.
So next was the match of the night.
Yes, it was.
I'd have to say that. I mean, I was more into Sammy and Owens just because of that angle, just because everything happened. But as far as wrestling match of the night, that was the match.
It was.
That one of the best matches I've saw in a couple of years.
Dude, it was spectacular.
Hey, take out female. That was one of the best matches.
Exactly.
Stevie Looney, who everybody that's listening to this probably knows Stevie. If you don't know him by name, you know him from the vapors that go around him. Rip will tell you about it. But he actually tweeted Matt, or text Matt, and said it was one of his best matches he'd ever saw in his life. I don't know if I go that far, but man, it was really good. It was, I mean, I can't find anything to pick apart with this match. both ladies just went out there and wrestled their butts off. I mean, killer submission stuff. Really, really strong finish with that off the top rope fall into the armbar.
Everybody, I feel like those girls are like, well, everybody thinks Charlotte is the best in NXT. Let's go out and show them that she's not.
Right.
And I will put the Tranny Train. The Tranny Train is one of the best submission wrestlers I've ever seen.
Oh God.
She was doing a supreme job of.
She was, man.
I've been really high on Sasha Banks, not the Tranny Train, but on Sasha Banks since she started pretty much. I remember talking to you early about it, and you was like, I don't know if she's gonna get it or not, but I saw it early, man. Not just to call that, but I think she's super hot. I'll say that too. But I'm talking about wrestling wise as well.
Yeah, I mean, she was excellent tonight, and man, I mean, you put that in there against Becky Lynch.
Oh yeah,
dude, Becky really came into her own tonight. I mean, and you know, it was telling to me. They knew it was something special because it reminded me a little bit of Okada at the end of Wrestle Kingdom. She was sitting in the ring on her knees crying, and the crowd gives a standing ovation for her. She stands up. It felt like a special moment, and I mean, what more could you ask for? And it was one of those matches where even though Becky took the loss, she really won tonight. I mean, they both won, and their stock both just went through the roof, in my opinion. And at this point, man, this women's division in NXT is really
than the Divas division in WWE.
Oh,
without
hands down.
Yeah, and we've got to give credit. I mean, we know a huge part of this. It's Sarah Del Rey. Sarah Del Rey training them is the hidden MVP of NXT, I believe.
Oh yeah, man.
Because the women's division is really, I would say at this point, maybe the main attraction on NXT.
Well, it's been main eventing some of their shows around the country. Just the women's stuff.
It's all Del Rey. I mean, she's the one that's taking these girls and showing them how to wrestle. And I just wonder. I mean, Jimmy, you said it, and we need Total Divas to die. Is a day gonna come? A new day.
That sucks.
Is a new day gonna come where we see all these girls finally graduate up to Raw and take this same act to Monday nights?
Nope. What's gonna happen? Each one of those girls are gonna be fed to the Bellas.
And they're going.
Charlotte's the only one that has a chance just because of her family.
They'll get up there and they'll get an offer to go on Total Divas, and they'll take that cash in their pocket, and it'll be the same old story probably.
Think about this, and I might get some heat from some people for saying this.
Lord God, I love heat.
I love it too. Paige, when she was in NXT, was right here on this level. People were talking about her. I feel like from the time she's came up to Raw, she's completely regressed. She's I'm not saying she's bad, but she's nowhere near as good as she was.
Well, she don't have a chance to be, even if she is. I'm sure she still is, but there's not a lot to work with, and you get maybe 2-3 minutes. What can you do?
That's some headlock heat there, boys. Some headlock heat.
Oh yeah, we got him now, bud.
We got him.
Got him now.
So I mean, I don't know what else we can say about this match. I'm not Dave Meltzer. I am one of the Dave Meltzers of West Virginia, and we're going to give this. I'm going to go ahead and say it. And I thought about this, and I thought about it, before we even recorded the show. I'm going to give this an official Dave Meltzers of West Virginia Nerdy30s #Arson Brothers 5-star classic.
Oh!
I'm awarding it officially on the air. This is the first one. The Dave Meltzers of West Virginia's Nerdy30s #Arson Brothers 5-star classic.
Oh my God!
Sasha Banks,
Becky Lynch.
and Becky Lynch.
I'm gonna agree.
There's nothing I would change about the match.
Too sweet, me.
Too sweet. So, Ninja, what'd you think of it? We've been sitting here going crazy talking, man. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, both ladies gave 110% tonight. Like I said, it's not WWE Divas will not ever step forward to do that kind of match with these two ladies. I mean, they both earned my respect tonight, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for both ladies.
I agree. Now, Jimmy would question that one of them's not a lady, but I don't agree with him.
I think she might have gone through the whole Bruce Jenner thing.
Okay.
My personal opinion.
That's a hot
But we're
angle
not
right
talking
now.
about China, right?
No, we are
Okay.
not.
This leads us to our main event. And this is one... There's so much... I feel like that... we could talk about this main event just story-wise. There's 12 years.
It's their
A
second
story.
match against each other. What are you talking about?
Their second match.
What are you
This
talking
Sami Zayn
about?
guy came out of nowhere, and Kevin Owens, I heard he's the Brooklyn Brawler's illegitimate son. They just gave him a job.
That's what some former knockout pros of West Virginia wrestling would tell you. Hey, man, if a guy's going to knock out a man at an Applebee's and drag him around the parking lot and then turn around and knock out Scotty Blaze, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm going to think he's crazy, but I ain't going to argue with him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't looking to carry that kind of ass whooping. But, okay. Throwing all that out the window. Yes. 12 years worth of build-up. And not only that, but also, if we throw in the stuff that happened with Zayn and Cena 3 weeks ago, and Zayn getting hurt, and then this last Monday night we see Owens show up on Raw, not to challenge Cena for the U.S. title, but to tell Cena, I was the one that hurt Sami. It just makes this thing at this point, Zayn's heel character is so layered because he's a classic heel in so many different ways. Because he will do the chicken shit. He will back
Zayn's?
off on you.
You said
No, I mean,
Zayn.
I'm sorry, Kevin Owens.
Oh my
I apologize.
Yeah, I was.
He's as unhealed as
No,
Ricky Steamboat.
I'm sorry.
I mean, what are you talking
I
about?
misspoke. Kevin Owens, he don't care to back off, and he'll show that side. But at the same time, he takes the opportunity, and the minute that opportunity strikes, he goes into brutal mode. Not only that, but he's also very disingenuous because since he showed up, the whole time it's been, I'm only doing this for my family. I did this, but at the same time you can see that that's not what this character is actually doing. This character wants to hurt Sami Zayn. This character wants to hurt people, and it becomes it's just another layer on the heel because he's using his family as an excuse for these things that he does. When it's the truth is he's got evil tattooed on his arm. The man, this character, Kevin Owens, is maybe character-wise the most evil man in wrestling since Kevin Sullivan. Diabolical. And people that don't get that, I'm sorry, in my opinion, if you can't look at that and see the nuance and the layers of this heel act, maybe the best heel in wrestling in 20 years. If you can't see that, then I have to question how much you understand about how wrestling actually works.
Well, he hasn't sold any tickets. He hasn't made any money off his whole angle for the last, 6-7 years.
Jim Cornette just called and said for you to quit sticking your foot in your mouth.
I'll tell him where to stick something.
Whoa.
But,
At a Dairy Queen.
at a Dairy Queen. And I'm still convinced on the pre-show that was Samoa Joe back there, by the way. But
It truly might have
That
been.
could have been.
But yeah, so the match itself, I love the way the booking of this match went because Zayn was fired up and Zayn was taking it to Owens. He had the heat on Owens most of the match. Owens running from him, trying to get away. There was a wonderful, wonderful spot that had us all scared to death.
Powerbomb tease, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It looked like he was going to powerbomb him straight on the concrete, Big Van Vader style, 1993. And Zayn luckily grabs on and catches the guardrail. And that's why Sami Zayn's the best face in wrestling. Because we care enough about Sami Zayn that he made us on the edge of our seats that we didn't want to see him take that. And when he caught that, it felt like that moment in a movie where the hero at the last second gets saved. Because I was scared for him for a moment. Because I almost would have dropped him hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was excellent.
And so we basically, it came to the point at ringside they're just going at it, and Owens finally catches him with the pop-up powerbomb on the apron. And from that point, we got the doctors coming out, trying to keep him off. And Owens, like a shark, smelled blood, just swirling around. Every chance he got, jumping back in there and attacking. It looked like he was just going to beat on him until he killed him. And we heard some music hit. Some somewhat familiar music.
It was enough. I wonder if they'll leave that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was enough to where you knew it was Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
And amazingly, with the Samoa Joe shirt on.
And apparently, I didn't catch this because we were marking out pretty hard, but Cody Green said that they did say Samoa Joe on commentary as well.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It might be Samoa Reigns next week or Joe Reigns or whatever, but at least one time they said Samoa Joe.
He's going to be, they'll put him in that family. He'll be like, oh, another.
I mean, they've said they're never going to give the CM Punk deal to anybody else, right? Where they can keep his name and own it.
Yeah.
Well, Rhino. But Rhino was Rhino in WWE at one point,
They
too.
spell it
They
different.
spell it different.
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
change it.
So
they'll probably spell Samoa J-O instead of J-O.
Maybe.
Samoa Joe.
Or Polynesian Island Joe.
Hawaiian sweetbread Joe.
What did you guys think of the little tease we got between Joe and Owens?
Oh. I want it. I want it right now.
But they're going to make us wait for it because they have to do Finn Balor first,
You got
right?
to.
Yeah. Where does something we didn't mention? A little thing of beauty was Kevin Owens coming out in the John Cena "The Champ Is Here" shirt.
Yeah.
That was
makes
awesome.
this whole thing a little more complex and interesting, I think, is that he is booked on a main roster pay-per-view in 2 weeks from now against John Cena.
Yeah, he's not wrestling Fandango. He's not wrestling Adam Rose. He's wrestling the top dog because he don't have that world title, but I promise you, John Cena is still the top
yeah.
dog.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that I'm interested in what they're going to do. Here's my opinion. I think they'll use Joe to get the belt off of Owens to Baylor because they want to push Baylor. Let him get his title run so they can get him out and get him up to the main roster. They'll have a Joe and Owens feud. And then I'm wondering, I think this is it possibly for Owens and Zayn for a while. And maybe save it for later, maybe up at the WWE roster.
Yeah.
They gave you a little taste, and you got it in the back of your mind now. And then that's, they're going to put one of them up there, let one of them get over, and then the other one come back.
Possible. Very possible.
That's my opinion.
I think that all sounds very plausible.
That's Nerdy30s Russo booking, baby.
I'm going to say I think that's very possible. The other possibility is I could see them having Joe cost Owens the match at Elimination Chamber and then just hot shot right into that and save. They could run a little feud with Joe and Owens. I don't know. I was going to say they could run that and then give Balor the shot at the next NXT special. But I can't believe that they're not going to. I have a feeling the next NXT special will probably be headlined by Joe and Owens. So
I have a feeling the next NXT special will be the last time you see Finn in NXT, possibly.
yeah, that guy's going up top real quick.
It's too much merchandise money.
It is.
I mean, he's a merchandise cow. He's got to be.
So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, Jimmy and me kind of gave our thoughts on what do you think's going to happen going forward?
I don't know. I think it's sort of odd where they got this going. I would like to see, and I told you guys a minute ago, Owens just beat down Cena. I don't know if this is it for the title at this pay.
I haven't saw that.
I haven't either. If it's for the title, take the title, keep the NXT title, work NXT and the main roster at least enough to do, and just make him like a dominant, crazy heel character on both and build it huge. Wouldn't that be interesting? And then finally, somehow ends up losing the NXT belt or whatever, and then pop him right on up to the main title, the big title scene. Build it big. But what we'll get, I don't know.
How long do you think we have Samoa Joe in NXT?
I don't know on that one.
I'm going to make a statement that I don't know. I, for some reason, I feel like Joe never goes to the main roster.
Really?
I feel like he's worked an NXT deal and he might can still do some other stuff with it. I don't know that. I feel like he may be like a Rhino or like we saw a little bit of Tommy Dreamer. I don't know why I feel that way. There's no reason or even anything to believe that, but for some reason I feel like that could be possible. I don't know.
So when TNA loses their TV deal, he'll be working NXT and TNA. Like TNA will hire him back.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't even know really why I think that, but I don't know. I just think if it's not with this, I think it's something like that with somebody big, and I don't know who maybe or even left is going to happen soon. I think the landscape's changing in wrestling as a broad spectrum, not just talking between NXT and the main roster. I don't know. It's a very interesting time if you sit back and look at the whole broad picture of things that's going on, and you look at the politics and the Willens and Dillons and the contract situations right now in wrestling. It's very interesting.
You know what I've noticed in the past few weeks on Raw? It has become more and more the NXT generation, we'll call them, or the indie guys. Almost every match now, they've infiltrated. Like, the landscape of Raw has changed. I mean, every one of these guys, every match it seems like you've got at least one guy that came up through the indies or came up through NXT. And I think because we're seeing it gradually because we watch this every week. Well, 2 of us do, or 3 of us do. I know you don't.
I fast forward through it.
But we watch it every week. So it's kind of like if you are around somebody every day, they can be losing weight and you don't realize it because you see them every day. But if you don't see that person for 3 months and then you realize, oh, this person lost weight. I think it's the same thing. We've watched it, so we haven't even realized. But we haven't even realized how much it's really changed the landscape. I mean, the main roster is a vastly different roster than it was 2 years ago.
Yes, it is.
And
to totally off the remark, we're watching kind of like the replay while we're doing this. Is it odd that over Stephanie's shoulder says the box? I'm just saying.
It's. I don't know if that was strategically placed or not, but it is odd.
But let me make a statement here. And you know, we keep talking about going up, putting people up. They have an ability right now to add a third, well-grossing touring group. They've got 2 groups now. You know, to the main roster. They could add a third one, or they put those guys up. I almost think maybe some of them guys stay down longer than we think, just for that.
Hashtag bring back WCW. Get the movement alive.
Let's make it happen.
You bring Joe there. You bring
Sting.
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 Graduating from NXT. Forget the main roster. Let that be the big show in Kane hour. Let's go over to WCW and do some wrestling.
I agree. We put Big Show as the champion.
Oh.
I just killed WCW.
Yeah, well, there went that.
Russo booked it dead again.
So, I mean, that's pretty much NXT. That's our thoughts on this show. Obviously, overall, we liked it a lot. There were some spots that maybe it wasn't as exciting as past ones, but overall, still a great show.
Oh, yeah.
A great show. I do want to ask, because, Matt, you watched them. Quickly, what are your thoughts on... We watched the Ring of Honor New Japan show the other night. I think that would be more, at least just like talking about a little bit. What were some of your highlights from that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, it was just a whole big pile of business killing. That's all that it was.
It was, wasn't it? I saw so many flips and super kicks and no sells, and I don't know if I saw anybody put anybody in a side headlock one time.
Oh, man. Very fun. We got to watch 2 of those shows. Night 1 of Global Wars and then Night 1 of War of the Worlds delayed later. But standout stuff from them. That main event on Night 1 of Global Wars was, I think, still a standout just because it was a spectacle and beautiful and amazing. So much business killing in one match.
Oh, interesting to note. I found out. Guess who put together most of that match?
Who?
Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
He put together most of that match.
You can tell that's a darn Young Bucks match, Jeff. Punch out fool.
I want to say, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but really a standout performance from Cedric Alexander.
Man, yes.
He wrestled against Okada, who is, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, it would be hard to argue he's not one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would put Okada in their number 1. And Cedric, honestly, he not only looked like he belonged in there, he looked like he should be wrestling on that level every night.
He did, man. It was spectacular.
So I just want to, I just want to say I was really impressed.
I mean,
with
maybe
him.
realistically, you boil down to it, that may have been the best actual match of the all of it.
Well, you know, I don't
Maybe.
know. I will
it's
say
up there.
because we haven't saw it yet. Because night 2 in Canada was a TV taping.
Right.
I have heard reports coming out that Roderick Strong and Shinsuke Nakamura had an amazing match. I've heard people saying that that's one to watch.
That sounds spectacular.
And that's going to be on ROH TV coming up.
Nice.
But, I mean, like you said, the shows we got the pleasure of seeing, there wasn't really any bad matches.
No.
I was a little, I guess, I had high hopes for Michael Elgin and Hiroshi Tanahashi just because I really wanted, I was wanting to go good for Elgin because it's no secret. Elgin wants to get to Japan. And I don't know, there was like a few hiccups in this match that kept it from going to where it should have went. It was still good.
Yeah, it was
good. Real good. But it wasn't what it should have been.
No, it wasn't. I don't know why. I really feel like the language thing played into it because you could see almost a little bit of confusion on each side of it at times. But it was really good. I mean, it's not to say that.
If Elgin's wanting to go to Japan, he can't be showing the language barrier as a problem.
No, we can't.
So, I don't know. But yeah, like you said, the two matches that really stood out to me on that night was Okada and Alexander, and then Team Ring of Honor against
ROH All-Stars versus the Bullet Club. I think that was the...
And that was just a beautiful, glorious spot fest, and I could watch it over and over. So overall, huge. I mean, it's just been a fun week of wrestling. And I mean, yeah, we had that. We had Ring of Honor. We had WVCW Saturday night, which was really good. Mm-hmm. Big ups to Benny Conley. Big ups to Baron Bullard. Big ups to Jason Kincaid, and big ups to Jake Manning. All 4 of those guys just killed it the other night, and the whole roster. I'm not meaning to leave anybody else out. That was a good show too.
Yes, it was.
And just
Payback Sunday night, Raw Monday.
Yeah, and Payback. I mean, I don't want to go into a big long discussion on it,
No.
but I will just say it was a good pay-per-view.
It was a solid show. It was.
So, wrestling. God, I love it, and I love to kill it. So,
Killing the business.
So, final thoughts, anyone?
Watch NXT. Find it so you don't have to give Vince McMahon $9.99. I refuse to give Vince McMahon.
He needs your money.
I still refuse to give him my money. I'm sorry.
He can't even see anymore, Jimmy. He needs surgery. It's bad.
And if you don't get your $9.99, the WWE will not last much longer.
See there?
I'll think about it. Oh boy.
Or you can just come watch it with us.
That's
For
what
free.
I think Matt paid for it.
That's fun. Well, come to Miracle on the Mountain June 6th, Bluefield Auditorium. Watch the Man Beats Rhino, C.W. Anderson, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good one. And I guess if that's it, is that it?
That's all I know of.
Well, I guess for all of Team Nerdy30s, I'll go ahead and sign off, and we'll just tell everybody to please, whatever you do, America, I don't care where you are, please keep it nerdy.